When you see plain dresses and horse buggies on a country road, do you instantly know which plain people you're looking at, or do they all blur together? For many of us who grew up watching small-town life, those images feel familiar, but familiarity can hide surprising differences. Today we'll answer a simple question that's confused generations. Are the Amish and the Hutterites the same people, or something entirely different? Welcome back to the colony legacy. To the outside world, they can seem identical. Simple clothes, a life separated from modernity, a deep faith. But beneath the surface, the Hutterites and the Amish live in two profoundly different worlds. Today, we draw back the curtain and reveal the 5 key differences you never knew existed. 5 truths: community, technology, economy, history, and the way they engage the world. Look beyond the bonnet and the beard, peel back layers of misconception. Let's begin with where they both came from. A shared Anabaptist heritage that split into 2 very different answers to how to live a faithful life. Before we can fully appreciate the striking differences between the Hutterites and the Amish, it is essential to first understand their shared foundation. Both groups are spiritual descendants of the Anabaptist movement, a radical wing of the Protestant Reformation that emerged in Europe in the 1520s. Dissatisfied with the reforms of Martin Luther and Ulrich Zwingli, they argued for a believer's church, separate from the state, where membership was voluntary and based on a conscious confession of faith. This conviction led them to practice adult baptism, directly challenging the universal practice of infant baptism, which was seen as a symbol of the unholy union between church and state. For this and other radical beliefs, they were fiercely persecuted by Catholics and Protestants alike, accused of heresy and treason. That shared history of martyrdom and suffering shaped both Amish and Hutterite identity. Separation from the world guides both groups today, affecting education, political involvement, and social interaction. From this common soil came a strong emphasis on community and mutual aid. The most fundamental and visually striking difference between Hutterites and Amish lies in their model of community. Hutterites practice a form of Christian communism, living together in disciplined, highly organized communities known as colonies or Bruderhofs. A typical colony consists of several large multi-family residential buildings, a central kitchen and dining hall, a school, a church, various agricultural and industrial workshops. Life is entirely communal. Families have private apartments for sleeping and personal time. Meals are eaten together in the dining hall. Work is assigned by a colony manager. Children are cared for in a communal nursery and school system. Another area of profound divergence is the 2 groups' approach to technology. While both are known for being plain, their definitions of what constitutes acceptable technology are worlds apart. Hutterites take a surprisingly pragmatic and utilitarian approach. Their primary goal is to support the communal colony and operate their large-scale agricultural and manufacturing enterprises as efficiently and profitably as possible. It's not uncommon to find Hutterite colonies equipped with massive GPS-guided tractors, state-of-the-art automated workshops, sophisticated computer systems for managing their business operations. Hutterite leaders or ministers carefully vet new technologies, but their concern is less about the technology itself and more about its potential to disrupt the communal structure. For example, while they use computers for business, they strictly limit personal internet access, television, smartphones to prevent the intrusion of worldly values and individualism that could threaten the colony's cohesion. The Amish, on the other hand, take a much more cautious and restrictive approach to technology. Their guiding principle is not economic efficiency, but the preservation of the family, the community, and a slower pace of life. The horse and buggy is the most famous example of this. Flowing directly from their differing community structures are 2 vastly different economic systems. They practice a system known as the community of goods or the common purse. No individual owns private property of any significance. The land, the machinery, the buildings, all income generated from their enterprises belong to the colony as a whole. When the colony sells its grain, livestock, and manufactured goods, the revenue goes directly into a common treasury. From this central fund, all the needs of the community members are met. This means that no Hutterite receives a personal paycheck or salary. Instead, the colony provides everything. Food from the communal kitchen, housing, clothing made in the colony or purchased in bulk, and medical care. The Amish economic model could not be more different. It is deeply entrepreneurial and centered on the private family enterprise. Custom furniture, quilt shops, construction crews, small machine shops, and roadside stands selling produce and baked goods. Fathers and sons work together, passing down skills and the family business. The historical and linguistic roots of the Hutterites and Amish, while both originating in the Anabaptist movement, branched off very early and in different geographic locations, leading to distinct cultural identities. The Hutterite movement was founded by a small group of Anabaptist refugees in Tyrol, Austria in 1528. They were led by a charismatic preacher named Jakob Hutter, who passionately advocated for the community of goods as a biblical mandate. He was captured and burned at the stake in 1536. His followers endured centuries of relentless persecution, forcing them to migrate across Moravia, Slovakia, Transylvania, and eventually Ukraine. In the 1870s, facing forced Russification and conscription, they migrated to the United States and today are found mostly in the prairie states and western Canadian provinces. The Amish, by contrast, trace their origins to a schism within the Swiss-German Anabaptist community in 1693, led by Jakob Amann. He insisted on stricter discipline and the practice of Meidung, social shunning, and on plain dress and practices. Amish migration to North America began earlier, and the oldest settlements are in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Indiana. Their dialect, Pennsylvania German or Pennsylvania Dutch, derives from Palatinate German and has been more heavily influenced by English than Hutterish. The final key difference lies in how each group negotiates its relationship with the outside world. They call it the English world. Hutterites have a structured, business-oriented relationship with outsiders. A few designated individuals, the colony manager, the farm boss, the German teacher, handle almost all outside interactions, driving to town to purchase supplies, negotiate contracts, deal with bankers and lawyers, and manage sales. This creates a buffer, insulating most colony members from frequent contact and letting the colony operate efficiently without compromising internal life. The Amish relationship is more porous and personal. Thousands of Amish families run small businesses and have direct one-on-one contact with customers. They speak directly with English clients, sell at farmers markets, and maintain daily contact that requires different social skills and creates a different boundary. The boundary is personal and cultural discipline, not a physical wall. Leaders and parents must instill distinctiveness in children amid daily exposure. This increased interaction produced what some call the Amish economic miracle: quality craftsmanship, honesty, and a strong work ethic that makes their products highly sought after. Engagement with the world is fluid and complex, one guarded by corporate-style buffers, the other negotiated daily at the family level. In examining these 5 truths, we see a fascinating tapestry of tradition, woven by two peoples who, despite their shared origins, have chosen remarkably different threads to craft their way of life. For the Hutterites, the community is the ultimate expression of faith, the vessel through which salvation is worked out. The colony is a fortress designed to protect members from individualism, while engaging the world on its own terms through enterprise. Their life is one of radical sharing, collective discipline, and finding purpose as part of a larger organism. The Amish have woven their tapestry around family, tradition, and a cautious dance with modernity, preserving identity through daily boundary maintenance. Different subgroups draw the line differently, allowing diversity across the broader Amish world. They are growing and expanding in a secularizing age, each model demonstrating a different answer to how to live meaningfully in modernity. Neither model is utopia. Both wrestle with trade-offs between security, autonomy, cohesion, and freedom. Our journey through the hidden worlds of the Hutterites and the Amish reveals that the simple, plain clothing they share is but a thin veil over two profoundly different ways of being. One path, the Hutterite way, leads to the communal colony where the we takes precedence over the I, where technology is a tool for the collective and economic life is shared. The other path, the Amish way, leads to the family homestead where faith is nurtured around the hearth, technology is restrained, and economic life centers on family enterprise. Which of these two worlds do you find more fascinating, and why? Now that you understand the key differences between the Hutterites and the Amish, which way of life do you find more fascinating and why? Share your perspective in the comments. Click the video on your screen now to watch our last episode, The Economy of Simplicity. Thank you for joining us on the Colony Legacy.